Have you ever met someone who just understands things on a level that feels almost supernatural? Like they can see the hidden threads connecting people, ideas, and events while the rest of us are still untangling the knots? What if I told you that some people are born with a mind that processes the world in a way that makes them uniquely intelligent? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of the rarest and most fascinating personality types, the INFJ. Why do they often come across as intellectual powerhouses even when they're not trying? Grab a seat. This isn't just another personality overview. We're diving deep into the why behind their brilliance. 1. The INFJ's secret weapon, Introverted Intuition, NI. At the core of every INFJ's intelligence is a cognitive function called Introverted Intuition, NI. Think of NI as a mental radar that's always scanning for patterns, symbols, and deeper meanings. While most people focus on what's right in front of them, INFJs are busy connecting dots from the past, present, and future. Imagine watching a movie for the 10th time and suddenly noticing a hidden clue that changes the entire story. That's how an INFJ's brain works every day. They don't just absorb information, they reframe it. For example, an INFJ might hear a friend complain about a stressful job and instantly foresee how that job could impact their friend's health, relationships, and future career choices. This ability to predict outcomes isn't magic. It's a mix of observation, analysis, and a knack for seeing the bigger picture. While others might call it a gut feeling, for INFJs, it's a well-honed skill. 2. Emotional intelligence, the INFJ's silent superpower. IQ tests might measure logic and memory, but INFJs dominate in emotional intelligence, EQ. Their second cognitive function, extrovert feeling, FE, acts like an emotional antenna. They don't just notice when someone's upset, they sense the why behind the emotion. Picture this. At a family dinner, an INFJ notices their sibling laughing a little too loudly and fidgeting with their napkin. While everyone else thinks they're having fun, the INFJ is thinking they're anxious about something, probably the job interview tomorrow. This isn't guesswork. Their brains are wired to read micro-expressions, tone shifts, and body language in real time. It's like having a built-in lie detector, but instead of catching fibs, they're catching unspoken fears, hopes, and needs. This makes them incredible mediators, leaders, and friends because they don't just solve problems, they solve the right problems. 3. Reading between the lines, how INFJs decode human behavior. Most people listen to words. INFJs listen to the silence between them. They're experts at picking up on what's not said. For instance, if a coworker says, "I'm fine with the new project," but their voice tightens on the word fine, the INFJ hears the hesitation. They'll think they're overwhelmed but don't want to admit it. This skill isn't just useful in personal relationships. It's a game changer in workplaces, negotiations, and even parenting. INFJs often know what someone needs before that person knows it themselves. Imagine having a friend who remembers your favorite coffee order after mentioning it once, or a boss who assigns tasks based on your hidden strengths. That's the INFJ advantage. They don't just interact with people, they study them, turning everyday conversations into lessons on human nature. 4. Strategic thinkers, the art of long-term vision. INFJs don't make decisions based on what's easy today. They ask, how will this choice affect me and everyone else in 10 years? Their brains are wired for long-term strategy. Let's say an INFJ is planning a career move. They won't just weigh salary or job title. They'll consider company culture, work-life balance, potential mentors, and how the role aligns with their values. They're like chess players who plan 10 moves ahead, sacrificing short-term wins for lasting success. This foresight makes them natural visionaries. Martin Luther King Jr., often typed as an INFJ, didn't just fight for civil rights. He imagined a future where equality was non-negotiable. INFJs thrive in roles where they can turn ideals into action, whether it's launching a social justice initiative or raising kids who challenge the status quo. 5. Creative genius, where logic meets imagination. INFJs are secretly artists. Their creativity isn't about painting or music, though many excel there too. It's about solving problems in ways no one else imagines. Take a simple example, a school fundraiser. While others brainstorm bake sales, the INFJ suggests partnering with local businesses for sponsorships, creating a viral social media campaign, and tying the event to a bigger cause like climate change. Their ideas merge logic, we need money, with imagination, let's make this matter beyond our school. This blend comes from their love of metaphors and symbols. An INFJ might see a crumbling bridge and think, that's how communication breaks down in relationships. They're constantly translating abstract ideas into real-world solutions, making them innovators in fields like psychology, writing, and tech. 6. Empathy as a cognitive tool, not just a trait. For INFJs, empathy isn't just about kindness, it's a strategic skill. They use it to navigate complex situations. Imagine a team conflict. Two coworkers are arguing over credit for a project. The INFJ doesn't just mediate, they dissect each person's ego, insecurities, and unmet needs. They might realize coworker A is stressed about impressing their new boss, while coworker B feels undervalued. The INFJ's solution? Publicly praise both but assign coworker B a leadership role in the next project. This isn't people-pleasing, it's emotional engineering. They know empathy can diffuse tensions, build trust, and motivate people better than any bonus check. It's why INFJs excel in HR, counseling, and diplomacy. They don't just fix problems, they heal systems. 7. The INFJ approach to problem solving, depth over speed. When faced with a challenge, INFJs don't rush. They dig. Let's say a friend is stuck in a toxic relationship. Others might say, just break up. The INFJ asks, why do you feel you don't deserve better? They'll explore childhood patterns, self-esteem issues, and societal pressures that keep their friend trapped. This depth can be frustrating for quick-fix seekers, but it's why INFJ solutions last. In business, this looks like a manager who doesn't just fix a team's low morale but redesigns workflows, communication styles, and recognition programs to prevent future issues. INFJs are the architects of lasting change because they address root causes, not symptoms. 8. The INFJ's hunger for knowledge, curiosity on steroids. INFJs are obsessed with understanding why people do what they do. They'll binge-watch documentaries on cults to learn about persuasion, read 19th century poetry to decode human emotions, or study neuroscience to figure out how memories shape behavior. This isn't random, it's fuel for their intuition. Every fact they learn becomes a puzzle piece for future insights. For example, an INFJ might link a historical event, like the fall of the Roman Empire, to modern workplace dynamics, realizing that poor communication toppled both. Their knowledge isn't stored in silos. It's a web of connections that lets them predict trends, avoid pitfalls, and innovate. 9. Grit and perseverance. The INFJ's unsung strength. INFJs are quietly relentless. Once they commit to a goal, they'll crawl through setbacks to achieve it. J.K. Rowling, a speculated INFJ, famously wrote Harry Potter while battling depression and poverty. INFJs thrive on purpose, not praise. If they believe in a cause, whether it's raising ethical kids or revolutionizing an industry, they'll work years in the shadows to make it happen. This grit comes from their judging J trait, which craves closure, and their NI, which keeps the end goal vivid in their minds. They're not deterred by slow progress. They're inspired by the vision of what could be. 10. INFJs in leadership, quiet powerhouses. INFJs don't lead with charisma, they lead with conviction. They're the CEOs who prioritize employee mental health over profits, the teachers who stay late to help struggling kids, or the activists who organize communities with quiet passion. Their strength is making others feel seen. A team led by an INFJ doesn't just meet targets, they feel like they're part of a mission. INFJs listen deeply, adapt strategies to fit their team's strengths, and never ask for credit. This humility builds fierce loyalty. Employees don't just respect INFJ leaders, they'd walk through fire for them. 11. The science behind INFJ brain wiring. Science is starting to uncover why INFJs think and feel so differently. Brain scans using fMRI technology show that INFJs often have heightened activity in areas linked to empathy, like the anterior insula, which helps process emotions and gut feelings. Another region, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, responsible for planning and problem-solving, also lights up more in INFJs compared to other types. This unique brain activity means INFJs aren't just emotional or logical, they're both at the same time. Imagine a car engine where two powerful systems work in perfect sync. One handles the emotional terrain, and the other maps out strategic routes. This biological wiring allows INFJs to switch between understanding a friend's heartbreak and devising a step-by-step plan to help them heal. Researchers believe this blend of emotional and analytical processing is why INFJs excel in fields like psychology, where you need to feel a client's pain and solve their problems simultaneously. It's not just personality, it's how their brains are built. 12. INFJs versus other types, the intelligence edge. How do INFJs stack up against other personality types? Let's compare. Take INTPs, known as logical thinkers. While INTPs might solve a math puzzle faster, INFJs grasp the human impact of that puzzle, like how it affects students' confidence. On the flip side, INFJs, another empathetic type, thrive in social settings but may miss the deeper, hidden patterns INFJs notice. What gives INFJs their edge? Their dominant function, introverted intuition, NI, works like a mental spotlight, cutting through noise to spot future possibilities. Paired with extrovert feeling, FE, which tunes into group emotions, INFJs become master strategists who care about both results and people. For example, in a company merger, an INFJ leader wouldn't just focus on profit margins. They'd predict how the merger affects employee morale, customer trust, and the company's reputation a decade later. This hybrid intelligence makes them rare gems in a world that often separates heart and mind. 13. Nurturing the INFJ mind. Environment matters. INFJs don't thrive in just any environment. They need spaces that value depth, creativity, and authenticity. Picture a young INFJ in a strict, rules-heavy school. They might shut down, feeling their curiosity stifled. But place them in a classroom that encourages questions and creative projects, and they'll bloom. Parents and teachers can nurture INFJs by giving them tools to explore their interests freely. Books on psychology, art supplies, or even open conversations about ethics can ignite their passion. For adult INFJs, workplaces matter too. A rigid corporate job with no room for innovation will drain them, but a mission-driven company where they can brainstorm ideas and connect with colleagues? That's their sweet spot. INFJs also need alone time to recharge their mental batteries. Unlike extroverts who gain energy from crowds, INFJs refuel by reflecting, reading, or diving into hobbies. The right environment doesn't just support them, it unlocks their full potential. 14. Challenges. When being an INFJ feels like a curse, high intelligence comes with a price. INFJs often feel like outsiders because few people get their depth. They might overthink simple decisions like which grocery store to visit because they're weighing ethics. Do they treat workers fairly? Environmental impact. Are their products sustainable? And personal needs. But I love their coffee aisle. Their empathy can also backfire. Imagine sitting with a sad friend and literally feeling their sadness in your body. It's exhausting. Many INFJs struggle with burnout, perfectionism, or loneliness. But here's the silver lining. Their self-awareness helps them adapt. An INFJ might set strict boundaries. I'll listen to venting for 30 minutes, then take a walk. Use journaling to untangle their thoughts, or channel stress into art. These challenges aren't weaknesses, they're proof of how deeply they engage with the world. The key is balancing their gift of depth with self-care. 15. The future of intelligence. Why INFJs are ahead. The world is shifting. Companies now value emotional intelligence as much as technical skills. Schools teach mindfulness alongside math. In this new landscape, INFJs aren't just keeping up, they're leading the charge. Because they've always blended logic and empathy. Take AI, for example. While robots can analyze data, they can't comfort a grieving employee or inspire a team with a shared vision. That's where INFJs shine. They're also naturals at bridging divides, whether in politics, community work, or family conflicts. As mental health awareness grows, their ability to listen deeply and offer nuanced advice becomes priceless. Future industries, like ethical tech, climate activism, or holistic healthcare, will need INFJ's mix of foresight and compassion. They're not just smart, they're pioneers of a smarter, kinder way to live. Conclusion. So, what makes INFJs stand out in the intelligence game? It's their ability to merge seemingly opposite strengths: intuition and logic, empathy and strategy, creativity and analysis. They don't just solve problems, they redefine them. An INFJ doesn't ask, "How do we fix this?" They ask, "How do we fix this in a way that heals, inspires, and lasts?" In a world obsessed with quick wins and surface-level success, INFJs remind us that true intelligence is about depth, connection, and vision. They're the quiet thinkers who write novels that change cultures, the leaders who build companies with soul, and the friends who see your potential even when you doubt it. If intelligence is the ability to navigate complexity with grace, then INFJs aren't just smart, they're masters of the human experience.